Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 96th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my fellow Hans Zimmer appreciator, Jaden.
Hello. Although
Top of the
today
morning.
it should be Michael Giacchino appreciator.
Yeah, it should actually. Yeah. I'm always scared. I think I didn't do it because I'm always scared I'm saying his name wrong. Because there are like so many variations, so many opportunities to mess it up, you know? But yeah, Giacchino. Your favourite Giacchino appreciator. He's great. Anyway, and we also got PTA's number one fanboy, a.k.a. John Cena, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Hello. What's up?
Not much. I'm ready to talk about cinema. You know what I mean? That's what I'm ready to do. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is The Batman. That's right. We lied to you, you dumb motherfuckers.
Wait, what?
What? Oh, you didn't know? We're reviewing The
that's
Batman?
in the Incredible Hulk? Oh, what the heck?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Can you give us a quick review of Edward Norton's performance in The Incredible Hulk before we get into The Batman?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I watched about 40 minutes.
Oh, you did?
So I know all about that.
Okay,
No,
all right. Did that 40 minutes impress you?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. Like, it was okay. But I think I was getting a bit. It felt like it was going down the slope a little bit, but I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's great. We'll reschedule that, so we'll do that soon anyway. But what are we doing? Oh, The Batman just came out. It opened in the US on the 4th of March 2022, directed by Matt Reeves. This is sort of, I guess now, a spiritual successor to our Planet of the Apes reviews, which is fun. It is an action crime thriller, and the synopsis says, when the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and questions his family's involvement. I looked when I was doing all this, when I was doing the prep, and The Batman is currently sitting at 66th place on IMDb's top 250, right above Aliens, coincidentally, which is hilarious to me. But yeah, Jane, I happen to have an inkling as to what you think of The Batman, but please lay it on me right now in as much detail as you like.
I think it's really, really, really fantastic. We've been talking about this for months, years, just speculating what it can be, with the names attached, how it's going to turn out. And I think everything I kind of hoped for and everything that, you could kind of guess could occur, kind of, it just happened. And like, this is the perfect Batman movie for me. I think Matt Reeves created the best neo-noir in the Western world in recent times. I think it feels like the most whole Batman film it just feels every inch of it is just filled, like the city is has genuine characteristics of being a unique city other than just being a New York or Chicago kind of replacement. All the characters are so filled, the locations are so lived in, everything feels like the geography actually feels set, and like I don't know, I just think that the whole film has that kind of tone and it has that quality of just feeling as if it is just perfectly set in its place.
Yeah, I know, I totally agree. We're going to get into, I have a fair bit to say about all the production design and stuff and the setting as well. It's awesome. But Liam, I've got no idea what you thought, so please reveal yourself.
Oh shit, bro.
Whoa.
No, it was great. What Jane said with the city, it actually feels like it's kind of like it's very Seven-ish with just the rain and the grime and the very, very gritty atmosphere. The whole film has just a great atmosphere like that, and it's like it's like very procedural, and it's actually like a slow burn, like mystery crime thing, as opposed to like a blockbuster, action film, which is really interesting. But like, yeah, the interpretation of Batman in this is really good. Like, I thought Pattinson was really incredible. I just Bruce Wayne, his Bruce Wayne is like just, he's kind of vampiric, and he has like the dark patches under his eyes, and it's like
Mm.
really pale, and he's just really, he's really emotional. I guess he's not as controlled as other Batmans. He's very just interesting as it's an interesting interpretation. I really enjoyed him, and just the whole film has a lot of like realistic characters, interesting characters. I think it's great.
Do you think that was deliberate, that he looks vampiric? Matt Reeves is like,
I
let's
think so.
reference Twilight,
Oh
let's do
yeah.
it. Why not?
Well, also like the actual like Bruce Wayne, like the house he's in, like when he first
Totally.
like got up in the day, I was like, wait, is that just like that's like an actual like vampire kind of mansion? That's like
I loved the whole Wayne Tower interior. I thought it was great. It felt really different. And I know there's like the chandeliers and the round table that Alfred's sitting at. That's of course the first thing anyone wants to hear in a Batman review. But the movie's awesome. I really enjoyed it. It's just terrific. Like, I don't even know. I feel like there's so much to get into and so much to break down. It's not without its issues for me, but overall, like, it really did fulfill that promise of what I think everyone really wanted out of this film. It really is the trailers in the strongest compliment. Like, if you watch the trailer and thought, man, this movie looks awesome, I hope this lives up to that, then this movie is just basically a 3-hour version of the trailer, and it's friggin' awesome. Like, it captures the tone. They use the exact same music, and the Nirvana song and all that stuff's terrific, and it all just really comes together and works. In terms of bloody Robert Pattinson playing Batman, dude, he is the standout of this movie for me. There are many performances we'll get into, but for me, he just kills this role. I don't know, it's going to take some time, and also just the fact that we've had so much more time with Christian Bale. I still prefer Christian Bale. I still prefer that interpretation of the character at this point in time. But there's no doubt that I really appreciated how different this felt. How it really tried to, the film does this overall, but just speaking specifically to the interpretation of the Bruce Wayne character, how it really stands on its own compared to other interpretations I've seen. The fact that we spend so little time with Bruce Wayne, there is really, he's in and out a little bit, but there's really only one extended scene I feel like we get with Bruce Wayne, and that's sort of the funeral scene. Outside of that, we get little drips and drabs with him in the mansion and stuff. It's not the manor, is it? It's Wayne Tower. But outside of that, Robert Pattinson plays Batman in the suit for 80% of this movie and just knocks that out of the park. I really liked how one of the most noticeable things right off the bat is that Bruce Wayne is not a playboy at all, like the furthest thing from it. And I thought that was one thing going in where I'm like, I don't know, can Robert Pattinson be this Christian Bale playboy? Can he pull off that side of it? And in the future, I've got no doubt that the character will probably evolve into that in some way. But in this film, he is not that at all. He is a recluse. He is socially awkward. He functions like a bat in the
socially
sense that
awkward. What do you mean socially awkward?
He's very
socially awkward. Bruce Wayne. He is.
Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, there is that whole funeral scene when he gets out and he's like looking around and he does not want to be there at all, and then he's walking up the stairs and he has to talk to Falcone. It's the whole thing.
Like part of that is because he's like, he's doing a bit of sleuthing in his mind, but like I think just in his other interactions, you can just tell that he's not a people person, and he's very
no. But he's like he feels like a bat. Like he's straight up. Like it feels like this guy goes out at night, and this is very much thematically relevant to the film as well. He's addicted to being Batman at this point. Like he goes out at night. He's Batman. We see him driving his motorbike. He comes in the morning. He probably just sleeps or trains or whatever, and then he goes out as Batman. Like that's literally all he does. And I think that's awesome. And it's clear how uncomfortable he is being in the public eye in Gotham. No one ever sees him. They comment on that multiple times. And I just thought that was really interesting and a really cool way to take this, and also very relevant to the arc he has throughout the movie as well. So I thought Pattinson was great. And just outside of that side of it, his performance overall, his line delivery, him as Batman, all his dialogue was awesome. I loved his Bat voice. And more than anything, I loved just him sort of, like every scene with him just standing there talking to someone, whether it's mostly Gordon or Catwoman or whoever else. Like, I just loved watching him on screen talk. You know what I mean? Like, he just had a great sense of the character, I thought. I was really into that. For you, Jaden, is Robert Pattinson, where does he stand in the echelon of Batman for you? And just how much did you enjoy him in the role?
I don't know. I think I prefer him to Ben Affleck because I think Ben Affleck's Batman is too old. You know, like I think they probably cast him at the wrong time. You know, like once you get into kind of like this kind of 40 age, you know, I think you probably don't want to be casting this Batman character because then like, you know, a lot of the. I think it's kind of like the same way with Bond. You don't want to cast an old Bond. You don't want to cast an old Batman. I feel like kind of Pattinson's kind of like the perfect age. Yeah. So in that aspect, I think I just in pure like that, I prefer him over Affleck. But like, I think like you said with Bale, I think it's going to be a time thing, and once we spend more time with Pattinson,
yeah,
I think it's going to come to love it because, you know, I think I do prefer just this depiction of him more. It's a lot subtler, you know, for all the realism and the grounding of The Dark Knight. He is still this larger than life character. You know, he is still a superhero. He is still a playboy. Like you mentioned, he's still a massive public figure. Whereas in this, he can just be a detective in a mask. And like, you know, like I think like so much of this movie just works as a kind of this noir detective thriller. Like if you take out Batman and just replace him with a detective, I think it still remains the same. It still works, you know. And I think like in that kind of just simpleness of the character, I think it might be one of the best, probably my favorite live action depiction.
Yeah. Wow. Cool. Even like you think over Christian Bale right here.
Yeah. Like don't get me wrong. Like I love Bale. I love the Nolan world, but like, you know, it's like I was saying, like it still feels like a character from comic put onto screen, whereas this feels like a very real world character, and I kind of like that for Batman, you know.
No, I totally agree. One of my main takeaways actually was the fact that everyone talks about the Dark Knight trilogy being, you know, this grounded take on Batman, this grounded take on superheroes. Yeah, we hadn't seen nothing yet, dude. This movie's way more grounded than the Dark Knight trilogy, and that's like impressive to me. It's really interesting, the fact that even in that trilogy, like I get it's more grounded compared to most films in the genre, but Batman still feels like, as a character, still feels like he has a mythical sort of presence to him. Like he teleports, you know, he still can like glide with just the cape, you know what I mean? And he feels like he's on a plane of existence above the regular characters still, you know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, he doesn't feel human.
Not really, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's not to compare him to like Superman or something, but yeah, he definitely feels like he's sort of above. In this film, Batman feels like just a dude standing there in the Batsuit. And don't get me wrong, like the Batsuit's awesome, and he still has gravitas to him as sort of a presence in the film. But he, at the end of the day, like he's just another guy standing there helping the police solve this crime. Like it's not, you know what I mean?
It's kind of explained away in like his kind of like is in that this is a very young Batman. You know, it's a year 2, or it's kind of adapted from like the year 1 storyline in like the year 2 type thing. In that this is, you know, so it's all still figuring stuff out. So like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if come the next movie or whatever happens with this year, like with this Batman, if it does kind of get that kind of bigger, bolder type thing, but like for this first outing, for it not being an origin story, I think it handles the character like it is an origin type thing, and
definitely,
I think I love it. You know, yeah.
It's not an origin story, like in terms of avoiding the Martha Wayne and the death stuff, of course, but it is an origin story in how it chooses to approach the character. Clearly, in Bruce and Batman still very much feel like they're in the earlier stages of their development as a character, and we're going to see that continue to grow. And like the Playboy stuff and all that stuff we've just talked about is, I feel like by the third film, and I presume this will end up being multiple films, by the third or however many we get, like we're going to see a very different Batman, and I think that's all very intentionally laying the groundwork, for that in this movie.
Well, I think Robert Pattinson would make a good Bruce Wayne playboy, and like,
oh yeah, for sure.
In the trilogy, like Bruce Wayne uses his public identity to like help him as Batman, or he like kind of masks the fact that he's Batman just with his his identity as a playboy. It's kind of like a tool for him. But I mean, yeah, what you were saying about like him being a reclusive stuff is really accurate. It's like from the trailer, like with the like talking about like it being grounded as well. I thought like when there's like that tower shot when he like jumps off and it like tilts down, and I thought they were like some kind of demon goons or something, but they were just the cops that were like running.
Yeah,
they were just like the cops. They were like running after him, and like there's nothing like mystical. There's nothing like superhuman in the film. Like there's no apart from I guess the one serum, but like in Batman Begins, there's still the fear serum that like spreads across Gotham and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But there's like nothing in that film. Like as Jane said, it's just like it's a crime drama and it's very grounded. And like the way Batman fights, you see it from the first scene, like fighting those guys with like the half white on their face or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like it takes a few.
Whatever.
Yeah, it takes a lot of punches for him to actually put someone down, because that's like more real, I guess, than just like stealthing and knocking them out in one. So it's like there's a lot of stuff like that that's really cool.
My favorite, and I think the most evident moment of that, or everything we're talking about right now in the film, is the squirrel suit moment, and how much I loved that and thought it was awesome. Like when he gets to the top of the building and he's scared to jump off it, like shit, and that's like so not Batman at all. At least the one like I'm used to, and the fact he's like, oh shit, Jesus Christ, and then he hesitantly jumps, and then he like completely kills himself, jumping off in this really awkward, like real looking squirrel suit. I thought it was really cool, actually. Like that was super grounded in the way I really liked. And again, like I've got no doubt, like, this is going to develop. I've got no doubt in future films that we're going to see him like very confidently glide and stuff. And that's going to be cool to see at the time,
How is this character, like, cause I think I was asking Michael, and I was asking just like, our friends that we went to stay with, and I was like, so like, is this a reboot of the DC kind of storyline? Like, how does this happen? Like, how is this character going to work with the rest of the DC kind of, film works? Are we going to see a Justice League with this Batman or not? Because I cannot imagine this Batman, like in his current state, interacting with other heroes or like in any kind of role like that. I can't even see the worlds merging together like that. This very much feels like a standalone film where like it feels like another Dark Knight case where like, these are going to be a series of films and they're just going to be unattached from, your other part of the extended universe.
I mean, I hope they don't do that. Yeah.
I've listened to Matt Reeves talk about this 2 days ago, and the way he described it was that, obviously, what? Oh yeah, I just had a chat to him. I just called up Matt, I was like, bro, big fan, but he the way he talked about it is that obviously Warner Brothers can do anything they want, so who knows what they'll do in the future. But for him, this is a Batverse. We know we're getting the Penguin show. We know we're getting the Gotham PD show. So there are spin-off shows from this film that we know we're getting, and presumably sequels and all that. But he described it as a Batverse. Like this is his own contained Batman universe with just Batman characters. You know what I mean? He's not interested in Superman and stuff at this stage. So
yeah,
that's what answers that, I think, for the time being anyway. Yeah, because I totally agree. And that, like, I'm super down to see more of this, like Gotham and more of this world. I think it's really well realized. But before we get too carried away, I just want to say that the opening 30 minutes of this movie is incredible. It is. I was like sitting in my seat, like, dude, this is a 10 out of 10 movie. Like, for the first 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. Like the start of it, the choice to have the whole introduction of Batman in this movie is the best I've ever seen. It is, the VO is incredible. The choice to have Robert Pattinson, Arbats as people call him, I believe. I'm just going to start doing that. Would you like me to start doing that, Jaden? No, you really don't. The choice to have him narrate the start of the film and also the end, which is very relevant, but loved it, dude. He's friggin' just coming in as we get the incredible montage of all the goons in Gotham getting scared shitless of the signal. And, it's not, what does he say? It's not just a call, it's a warning. And him talking about that and the fear that he strikes in the hearts of people in Gotham and the criminals like looking in the shadows and the friggin' theme just going the whole time underneath, like building the tension. Oh, it was a remarkable, like, I just want to watch that like 5-minute sequence on YouTube on repeat when I can, like it was remarkable. And then of course we get like the whole slow reveal of him walking out of the shadows and we get the scene from the trailer, which is just as friggin' awesome. God damn. It was so hype. It was remarkable. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just needed to fanboy over that.
Well, I was going to say, like, before you get too far into the cocksucking, like...
Oh, sorry. I sort of just went, like, real hard on that, didn't I? I just went, like...
Oh, no, I just know, like, we I think we will probably go down a rabbit hole and we probably will, like, just kind of go down that kind of... Just keep on praising, but, like, you did give this movie not a perfect score, and you did say you have drawbacks. I'm just wondering what those drawbacks are now, because like mine are just very minor, simple. Like I lost interest in the car chase scene.
I've seen people say that, yeah,
for like 10 seconds, and I was back into it, kind of like I like, but then and like also later on in like when like the Riddler goons happened, like although I loved it, I think there was like a tad bit of me that was withdrawn as well, but like. They're my only quarrels with the film, but it seems like you kind of have a bit more substantial ones.
Jan, do you want me? I was trying to go positive and then like come in with the drawbacks at the end. You want me to just go ham on the negatives? You want me to shit on this movie? Is that what you want me to do?
I mean, like we've spoken about it positively for 20 minutes, and then we'll do this segment, and then we can dick right.
And we'll just end strong. We'll end strong and positive.
Yeah.
Nah. I'm only being a smartass. No, I mean, for me, the movie's too long. I think there's a good 20 minutes of this movie that could have been cut.
Because you're a zoomer and you have a short attention span and you can't focus on the screen for more than fucking 2 seconds on your TikToks, huh?
No, there are moments in the film, and it makes sense to sort of maybe, if we get more specific into it when we talk about the actual, like, the detective plot and stuff. But there are just moments in the film where I feel like characters just sort of explain the plot like too many times. And it's like, it's fine, guys. I get it. It's cool. And so, there's stuff there. I would have cut the Joker scene at the end. I really didn't like it at all. I just am not interested at all in seeing the Joker in this universe. But, I mean...
Oh, really? I want to see the Joker. I just didn't like how it was included in this.
I'm both. I agree with you on that. Only that half as well, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
If that makes sense. Why didn't you like it, Fitzy?
Didn't like what?
Having the scene in the film.
Oh, I don't know. It just felt very like, post-credit, usual DC stuff. Like, yeah, it's not a good. It's never a good way to introduce a character in the previous film, I think. I mean, Batman Begins, I guess, did it with the card, but that was, ominous and not fully revealing. But
it was also new at the time. I don't know. I think there's something to be said for this movie decides to do literally the exact same thing as Batman Begins, which is introduce the Joker at the end and tease it, which is like, I don't know, I really didn't need that, It was just a pointless scene that really added nothing. I am interested in the idea that it is Barry, what's his name? Barry Keoghan?
Yeah. He seemed interesting.
That is interesting that they cast him. So... he's a great actor. I've got no doubt that he'll be a great Joker, but I don't know. It just sort of, I wanted to, I would have preferred they don't tease a sequel, to be honest, but if they were going to do it, I would have at least preferred it be something that hasn't been done before, Did you have any thoughts on that scene, Jane, just sort of while we're talking about it? Because, may as well get it all out there.
Like, I didn't mind it. Like, I thought it was fine, but like, I didn't want to see the Joker in either. Not just because I feel like he's too obvious of a villain for this kind of, because like in this one, they picked, like, none of these are obscure villains. It's like the Riddler and the Penguin and whatnot. But they're not they're not like your go-to roster. So I was kind of hoping they'd keep up that streak for latter ones. And
Yeah.
like coming out of the theater, like we weren't 100% sure on who it was, because I thought it was Harvey Dent because of the scarring. I didn't hear him say "you're a clown," and then like one of our friends was saying, it was it'd be funny if it was Mad Hatter, and like, well, Mad Hatter is like, like it's a, obviously it was joking that, like, I'd love to see that over the Joker just because it's kind of that adverse character choice and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't have a problem with the scene. I quite like the scene actually, but I just don't. Yeah, I'd rather not see the Joker. But like if it's happening.
Interesting. Like, you guys are like two halves of my whole in that sense. Like, I agree with both of you. Yeah, it's yeah, I agree. It's the obvious choice, and I would much prefer they. And who knows? Like, I don't want to. I think it's clear that he's going to be in the sequel, obviously, but there could be other villains in it too. I just would much prefer they did the same thing they did with the Riddler, which is take a character that hasn't been done in a while and make him like grounded and interesting again. Like even I saw someone say like, do Mr. Freeze, and that sounds interesting, but like the thing is, like, I don't know how they would do that, but I also couldn't necessarily have told you how they were going to do the Riddler, and I feel like there's a way you can do something like that, or anyone else really that you can have a new take on that could be cool, but they probably still will do it anyway.
I'd actually like to see like a rather like for all the realism we're talking about in this, I'd love to see like a rather flamboyant and over the top Joker, like kind of like games versus or like comic-esque version, because just to go back to the city, like kind of in its design is kind of this hybrid of Tim Burton's and Nolan's kind of thing, and it's kind of like this kind of gothic dream that's kind of unique but modern, and kind of it's cool like that. And I'd love to see like it's like Batman kind of represents the grittiness, and I'd love to see kind of like a Joker like as this like kind of like the grandeur kind of type of reflection of the setting. So like I think there's interesting things they can do with the Joker, and I do trust the team to do an interesting thing, but like I would have rather a more obscure character.
No, completely. And I don't know, maybe I'm projecting, but I feel like just from what that small snippet of a performance we got, it sort of was that to me, but which is cool, but I don't know. I mean, there are so many performances, this cast is stacked. Fitzy, you need to just take me somewhere. Take me to a performance that stood out to you, because we'll get to all of them, but where do you want to start?
Oh, I still didn't recognize Colin Farrell the entire time. There was maybe a second when he was upside down in the car that I recognized his like the eyebrows, but
oh god, wow!
Like, that is the Penguin, man. That was a good character.
Unbelievable.
But my one problem with the film is Falcone is not that great. I think he's not that intimidating, and
John Turturro, no,
and we don't get enough scenes with Paul Dano without the mask. Those are my two
interesting
problems. I mean, just comparing it to the trilogy again, which I should probably stop doing, but like we get.
I think it's totally fair to do that. By the way, like those movies exist, and they're going to be compared to this. Like, I think it's
but like in those films, like we get so much with like the villains, and they build so much into Batman's own ideas and like own philosophy, and like the Riddler does do that from a distance because he's against corruption as well, and he kind of helps Batman like see the light in terms
he's an orphan,
like the cities.
He's Batman's foil.
Yes.
He's Matt Reeves talked about that he is Batman if Batman crossed the line of being a murderer,
Yeah. Isn't Paul Dano just a great foil? There'll be blood. This.
That's just like on his resume whenever he applies for a film. It's like, I'll make a great foil for whatever.
Yeah.
For whoever your protagonist is,
yeah. But I think he was like he was way more ordinary than I thought he was, which was really good. Like his like face, because like his Paul Dano's actual face, like in the New York screening, I thought he looked like that. I thought that was like his thing, but like he looked super like ordinary, which was good. But we only got one extended like scene with him, which was pretty good. He was good.
That scene we do get with him is fantastic. I love it. I love the misdirect. I love his acting. I love the subtle inclinations of kind of madness you get. I think that's a brilliant scene with him.
His
I
performance in
found it
that
really
scene,
funny as well.
Keep him wanting more.
I did too.
Like the way he was like, no, 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 this is not the way it's supposed to go. You know, he's like really actually mad. And like,
Yeah.
he's like very delusional. Like you believe that he's delusional, but he's right. I mean, like he's going for good calls, I guess. But yeah,
I suppose in that scene when when he starts like just sort of going out of nowhere, like and then gets into the word he's about to say, like he like draws out his, when he does that, he like starts like not, he doesn't scream or squeal, but he starts like he's totally insane. You know what I'm talking about when he does that?
Yeah.
With his voice.
Yeah.
But every time he did that, I started laughing and like uncomfortably like shifting in my chair, which is like the performance gave me a physical reaction. So I was like, this is making me awkward.
Luke didn't like the wailing, like the way he cried.
Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah.
It was kind of good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It was strange, but I think it worked.
It was strange, yeah, for sure.
I think it goes to show, like, it's just another. I think it goes to further the characters of Batman and Riddler, because for as much as they are the same, they are different, and I think it just shows that he is that bit more kind of ill, I guess, is because he obviously is ill, and that's why he's in an asylum. So like, I think the wailing's fine. It goes to prove that difference.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And the misdirect in the scene is great too. Like the whole
so great.
You thought he figured it out, and for a second I was like, because it totally worked. Where like in the 20 seconds where I thought that he knew, I was like in my brain going, "Hang on, how does this make sense for the plot? What? Hang on." And then I was trying to backtrack it, and then I was like, "Oh no, it's fine." Like it all works. It all works out.
Well, it wouldn't be that unrealistic for him because it's like we're talking when we got out theater as well. The fact that he is a forensic accountant, like, it's such a brilliant way to just for the plot to begin, and for as to how he knows all this and how it's so easy because like in the modern world, money shows everything, and like so like all the transactions, it gives him everything he needs. So like, it wouldn't be that hard for him to figure out. There's an unusual amount of money disappearing from Wayne Enterprises going somewhere else. So like
right.
Had he jumped on, had he actually figured it out, it wouldn't have been that big of a stretch, really.
What are we saying? What? He did figure it out, though, right? That he was Bruce Wayne.
Batman. No,
he didn't.
Oh, he didn't. But why did he keep repeating it then? Like, what did he?
Because he was saying
he missed him. He got Alfred instead because the bomb was meant for Bruce Wayne, and obviously Batman was preoccupied. So like, and then he was just in that scene. He was just talking about how like there was just that one failure.
Oh, I like interpreted that as he was like talking directly to him, like he knew.
Well, yeah, but that's what you meant to feel. And then he says, "Damn it, I missed him." Like, and then Robert Pattinson has that little acting moment where he's like, "Oh, thank Christ!" Like,
oh, really? I totally missed that moment. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was good. Like, it was subtle. Like, I get missing it, but it was cool. I appreciated it.
He does make some fair points in that scene as well, though.
He does. Yeah,
he's a real orphan.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The thing it really was. The thing I was trying to backtrack in my brain about it was like the fact that when he puts the bomb in Wayne Tower, the letter he leaves to Batman, he leaves a letter every time. It had like a fireproof thing on it, like a little sticker, which obviously means that it's meant to be left for Batman to find at the scene.
Oh,
so I was like, how does that make any sense? Like, but it's cool. Yeah, it all worked out. But no, I really, really enjoyed him. I also really enjoyed from the Riddler character, like the little like influencer aspects they threw in there. I kind of like that.
Yeah, like the Twitch thing. That was when the trailer came out. It's like they're the I don't know, like the real, like there was the shooting in New Zealand. Like that was like live streamed, right? It's like it's very
you're talking about that. Oh. Right.
Yeah, but it was like very realistic in that way, like it's very modern crime,
And it was like it was very dark and also funny. It was pretty effective dark humor, I thought.
When he was like,
hey, thanks for all your comments. Yeah. Thanks for all your comments, guys. I appreciate your support. Like, and they're all comments like, make sure you bring your rifles. And I thought that was pretty.
Yeah. That's right. This is so Kaz if they didn't remove the dislike button.
That's so Kaz if my parents died in an alley 10 years ago. That's messed up, man. No, Paul Dano is absolutely terrific. I really enjoyed him, and just like every time, like I also really liked that scene when he's FaceTiming Batman during the bomb situation, and he like when he's delivering the riddles and his modulated voice and all that. I thought that was really good as well. But I was literally going to ask, what did you think of Falco? Why didn't you like him?
I don't know. He was just okay, I guess. Like, we didn't really see much. I guess when he tried to kill Selena, that was kind of brutal, but other than that, there wasn't a lot, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting a little more, I guess, but the whole film is like very small scale, so.
Well, I really like the performance, but I agree with you in regards to like his involvement in the plot in terms of like one of my main issues with the movie actually is the fact that, and it's not a huge issue because it didn't like detract from my engagement, and that's really all that matters, but I just felt that the central mystery and the actual like, solution we're trying to figure out here and what's the truth, of this situation, it's not that interesting. It's like, oh, guys, the big reveal in this movie is that Gotham is corrupt, and it's sort of like, oh, yeah, I know. It's like, I'm well aware, and that was sort of my one letdown, where the truth and the unmasking of this whole game, like I really enjoyed the beats to get there. But once we got there and it's just like, everyone works for Falcone, I'm like, didn't we? So, yeah, I know. Like, it sort of felt obvious to me, but not in like I literally knew that way, but in sort of like a, like nothing in this, it doesn't feel like a reveal. It's sort of like, okay. It's actually sort of the reverse Blade Runner, if that makes sense, where my criticism with Blade Runner and the way that the plot is structured is that it's so boring scene to scene as we're discovering like the truth of the situation. In this movie, like I find it really engaging beat to beat as we get to the next clue and the next clue. But then the result is sort of just like, oh yeah, okay. But I feel like the journey is much more important than the destination in that respect. That's why I don't find it that big of an issue. But it didn't lead to anything crazy. Like the thing it could have led to that was crazy was that the Waynes were evil people. That could have been like, oh shit. But they sort of stepped that back like 2 scenes later. They sort of walked that back real fast.
Yeah, they did.
They don't really commit to that. So,
you see,
that could have been cool. But
I really liked that kind of aspect that, this kind of are the Waynes part of this like mob empire. But then at the same time, like, had they fully executed it, I don't think I would have liked it because, it would have been kind of betraying like kind of 70 years of story that we know of that, these are good philanthropical people.
Wow, good one. I was impressed by that. Yeah. I don't know. I think I would have liked it. But
yeah, I think it would have been, it would have been bold and like it would have challenged Pattinson, Batman.
Yeah. Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been interesting as well. But like, yeah, I just think I wouldn't have been 100% on it, like 96%.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think for me that the movie it didn't need it because the movie's awesome, but I think that one little extra bit of like interesting story element could have really like pushed it like to the next level, for me, but it's fine. Like it's not the end of the world by any means.
I think the fact that Alfred knew about all this and didn't tell him kind of adds like, it adds like a good element to that, I guess, to how the Wayne stuff turns out to kind of fizzle. Like at least there's that element of like betrayal with Alfred. That was kind of interesting. But like,
yeah, that's true.
Alfred was pretty good. We got a pretty good Alfred. And he's no Michael Caine, but
he wasn't like is another thing that we spoke about was like he wasn't there a lot. Like they kind of split the role of Alfred between Alfred and Gordon in that kind of like he's like like Alfred played the father figure, but then also typically we get like he's kind of an assistant as well, whereas in this film like the assistant and like like the sleuthing detective like partner was just Gordon. So like
Alfred did the crossword puzzles and that's about it. Yeah,
like we didn't get a lot of it. So
crossword.
Yeah, we definitely I feel like got like significantly less screen time than I expected from Alfred, but I think I think the reason they did walk back the whole Wayne thing in terms of like it's okay, they're not terrible people. Like, is that scene, is that his involvement in the story, that scene when they, he's in the hospital, and like I didn't love that he survived at first. Like as I was watching it, I was like, oh really? Like he survived. That's felt like a cop out, but I feel like. And I feel the same way with the whole Wayne's a good thing, where that scene in the hospital sort of justified it enough to where I was like, okay, that's okay. Like, good job. You justified why you made these choices. And it's important for Bruce to, come close to losing the only person he has left in his life. He's essentially a father to him, a father figure to him. And he comes close to losing him, and he needs that moment to sort of snap back to reality of what's important in his life and sort of, recalibrate his priorities and stuff. And that's important to his character. So like once I saw that all play out and could look back on it, I'm like, I get why they made those decisions, and I like that. But I like how they used Alfred. And I also liked how, Andy Serkis brings sort of something different to the role in that he felt like a bit of a special forces sort of ex-badass sort of dude.
That's what he is. And I was gonna say like he feels more like the Gotham Alfred than he does like any kind of other on-screen Alfred.
Right. Yeah.
And like, like I watched Gotham a while ago, but from what I recall, what's the Alfred? Is it Sean something?
I don't know his
something
name.
Penn? Oh fuck, what was his name?
Not Sean Penn. Sean Penn was not.
Well, I'm just trying to think. Was it Sean Penn? I was like, no, surely not. I can search it up. But
I know him. I know who you're talking about. He's like that. Yeah.
Regardless, like like Andy Serkis much more felt like him than like like Michael Caine or Jeremy Irons or whatnot.
Yeah, and I like that for that. Like, Michael Caine is like the GOAT. Like, I honestly don't think I'd be hard pressed to think any Michael Caine's. I don't think there's going to be another Michael Caine, guys. I don't think any other Alfred interpretation can beat Michael Caine for me. But this I really liked. What was that?
But I won't bury you. I'm trying to. me and Luke were trying to do Michael Caine. We're talking about
some men just want to watch the world burn. Yeah.
We were talking about how fucking good Dominic was at Michael Caine impressions.
That's right.
He was amazing, dude. I was trying to say that you said good job, Zach, and that just gave me flashbacks. There are no two more harmful words in the English dictionary than good job. Like, what are you doing? You can't just.
Who says that?
Whiplash. Good job. That's like the best quote of the movie.
Oh, I've totally forgot that. Sorry. Like, no, now that you say it, I remember it, but like I did not spring to mind. I'm sorry. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I like Andy Serkis. He's great. I just like Andy Serkis in general, and I appreciate that. Much like Robert Pattinson bringing something different to Batman, he brought something different to Alfred, which was nice as well. For the little we see of him, and we're going to, I presumably, get a lot more of him too. So that's exciting as well.
Wait, so you felt like he had like a military background?
He did. Did they say that, or how did I?
I'm pretty sure they say that or something. But like the character of Alfred always has that. Like that's like it's a big.
That's core to his character anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, like he does train Bruce a bit, like in in his young years.
But you get more of that. I just felt like he felt more grizzled. Like he felt like in the performance itself, like regardless of any background information or whatever, like he felt like an ex army military dude. You know what I mean? As opposed to like Michael Caine feels like the cool grandpa. Like that's not what this Alfred was to me. Alfred was more like the badass uncle.
Yeah, like I'm just a little sad that we didn't get like more Bruce Wayne and Alfred, a little more like Paul Dano Joker and like stuff like that. Like, those are the things that let down the movie a little bit for me, because it is mainly just 3 hours of just straight Batman stuff, Batman and Gordon
doing things, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I would say is, like, the theme is, like, very repetitive. There's, it plays better 1,000 times, but, it's still a great movie.
We may as well transition to the score then, as Fitzy's brought it up. For me, don't get me wrong. You're totally right. They just go ham on it, But for me, it's like I disagree. But for me, it's like a good, bad, and the ugly situation where it's like, if you've got a theme that good, I don't care. Just hit it every 3 seconds, And outside of that,
the theme is like 3 notes. It's not that.
It's actually 4.
Amazing.
No, it's
Or
awesome. It's
notes.
so cool. It's so cool. And there's so many different ways they use it. It's great. Anyway, what do you think of the main theme, Jane? What do you think of the score overall? Because regardless of the theme, I was very impressed with it.
Yeah, for as much as they use the main theme, I think it's such an expansive score, and I think it feels like everything else in that. It feels so set and so massive and so just so expansive. Like it's just, I was like looking at the track list. Like this, it's a very big track list for like a film score. Typically there's like what I don't know, like anywhere between what would you say, like 10 to 17 tracks, right?
Sounds about right.
Like in this, I think it's like, hold on, let me try and find how long it is.
I was listening to it the other day and was very impressed. The
it's
opening
massive.
track, the opening track, which is the one that plays during the scene I just just spoofed about.
29 songs.
Wow.
Like it's just so complete. Like there's a song for every kind of like theme that you need. Sorry to cut you off, but as much as they use the main theme as a motif for the character every time it kind of appears, there is just so much music to fill everything that you can need, and I love it. Brilliant.
No, totally. That scene and that score during the scene I was talking about earlier, that got the honor of going straight on my soundtrack playlist as soon as I heard it again. I was like, yeah, that shit's awesome. And I also really loved the Riddler's theme, using whatever, I don't know what song that is that he literally sings in the movie. That, I don't know, what is it? That classic song?
Ave Maria.
That one, yeah. And that is his theme throughout the whole movie. Michael Giacchino's, I don't know, version of it, or whatever, however you describe that. It's all the time, and I really enjoy the use of that as well. Also, really liked Catwoman's theme as well. And just Catwoman in general. Catwoman was I really liked.
I don't remember that.
It stuck out to me when I was listening to it again, which I recognized it when I listened to it again. I can't. Do you want me to like hum it for you or something?
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
I'm definitely not. What do we think of Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman?
She was good.
Yeah. I was just waiting for you to go, she was shit. Terrible. I really liked it. What about you, Jade?
Yeah, I thought she was quite good. Like, I'm not going to complain about it at all. I don't know what else. Yeah, I don't really know what I kind of expected from it too. Like, so I don't know kind of if I can praise it, because I don't know what I was looking for. But she doesn't set a foot wrong or anything like that. Like it's a good performance. It works with the rest of the film. I think her chemistry with Robert Pattinson is pretty good. Yeah, I love the kind of way that she's involved in the story. I think Catwoman's I think she's another great part of the film.
Yeah, no, totally. And she is really, I would argue, I think she has the third most screen time. Like she is, I feel like her, Gordon, and Batman are sort of the three most central characters to the story, I think, at the heart of it. And I really liked her too. She, I don't know, like I just think Zoe Kravitz is great full stop. So, throw her in anything. I really liked her fight choreography and everything as well. And I don't know, like I liked her relationship with Batman. I didn't love it, Maybe a rewatch will help with that. Like they had good chemistry, like on screen, no doubt, but just like the way their relationship develops was sort of weird to me. I don't know. Like I didn't really get why she was into him, but like, and it also was weird that was like the final emotional beat of the movie, like literally the last scene. That was sort of weird to me. Like I feel like a rewatch is going to help me with that, like buy into that. It was just sort of an interesting choice to end the movie on that for me, where I was like, I don't really feel this. Whereas I was really feeling when Batman was like lifting the people out of the wreckage and stuff. Like I think that felt more emotionally impactful of an ending to me, But I mean, she's great. She's great. And how have we gone this far without mentioning bloody Jeffrey Wright as Gordon? He is literally the him and Batman, just the protagonists of this movie. Pretty much, they advance the plot by themselves. Essentially.
So in saying that, like it kind of. I don't even know if I said it earlier, but like I was meant to say, like when we're talking about like Bruce Wayne is like kind of socially awkward, his Batman kind of feels socially awkward as well.
Oh, definitely.
Like the way he like just like stands in like the crime scene, and just kind of looks around and like obviously his really mind's working and whatnot. But like I feel like had it been like a more developed Batman, he would have had a bit more like not charm, but there would have been a bit more about him to like in that kind of, in that kind of space.
Yeah.
And I love that he just kind of stands there and says like, oh, one line, and then like looks over and then like just like leaves.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of that also is how I love how the police react to him, and I love that little moment where, like, I think one of the forensic people like go and like try and move where he is, and he's just sort of blocking the way, and he's sort of like, "Excuse me," that was good. I like that. Yeah, I really liked every scene where Batman's sort of just standing there, like with the police and just working with them, and the way like he solves all the riddles in like 2 seconds, which I kind of enjoyed. Like he's just he is the world's greatest detective, I guess. I mean, all these comic dorks have been telling me that for years, and I've never really believed it, but I guess he is. So I thought that was really cool, and just I mean, Jeffrey Wright is really great, full stop, and
But like, is he though?
Whoa.
That's my question. No, he's good, but like, there's like
I can't
Gary
believe it.
when I think of like Gary Oldman and and Anne Hathaway as like Catwoman, like those are much more like full characters that I like get into the emotion of. Like, the Catwoman in this movie, I mean, like intense things happened to her, but like it just wasn't as involving. Like that her friend died or whatever. Like, yeah, her friend got killed by Falcone, but it really wasn't as I don't know. Like, you didn't get her perspective as much, or Gordon's perspective. It was very Batman centric, and as Jaden said, it was like very, crime detective is like that, detective-ish. Like that is what the movie is. So it's really not great on the characters as much, maybe apart from Bruce Wayne, but
I think this is like the most like kind of story driven and procedural kind of film in the superhero genre.
Yeah,
and like I think that's fine because it just sticks with this, like like it is a genre film, but not a superhero genre film. It's a noir detective film to me.
Yeah, I mean it's great, but like just in terms of what I get from movies in general is mainly character based. Yeah,
right.
I understand that for Gordon. I mean, bloody Gary Oldman's incredible, and we got 3 movies with him, and I'm looking forward to getting more with Jeffrey Wright. But I disagree with Catwoman. I think this Catwoman's better than Anne Hathaway to me. The second, the second that bloody Zoe Kravitz owned 3 cats, and they all liked Batman. I'm like, she's my Catwoman, but she owns cats. But no. In all seriousness, though, like I did really. I thought I connected with this Catwoman more. Like I appreciated her backstory more. Her working in the club and also being an orphan and, being treated terribly and trying to, like, as she says, like trying to make her way in this world. I feel like we see that a lot in the film. Like we actually get to see her, struggle and have to, do shady deals. Like when she's there, robbing the cars and stuff, and doing all these sort of jobs and stuff. I connected with that character and understood her situation in the world more so than Anne Hathaway, I think. And that's not telling you anything. I like Anne Hathaway a lot too, of course.
Why was Anne Hathaway just a thief in The Dark Knight Rises? Like that's what it was, right? Like we see her like we first.
Burglar.
Well, yeah, like we first meet her like stealing at like Bruce's party, and then like just kind of develops from there. Like there's not really much else to the story, right?
But I feel like also it's just like I don't know. Like
no, I get what you mean though, because I do understand your feeling, but I think, yeah,
like she feels really. Maybe it's just the difference of directing or whatever directors, but like it feels like we see in that movie at least the Catwoman that she cares about Batman, and we kind of see a bit of her home situation, and she's kind of like half anarchist, half like against Bane, and she's in a very interesting position, and she's just positioned really well, and like when she traps Bruce Wayne for Bane, we see her regret, and I feel like we get a lot of that, and it's directed really well. But no, I do agree that there is stuff in this movie for Zoe Kravitz. So like that POV scene in the club, with all these creepy
really
guys,
good scene.
It was really great. That was like, oh, this sucks. Yeah, that was good.
That was a really great scene actually, because it was doubly effective in that it was interesting plot wise. Like in Batman's perspective of like learning more about, oh my God, look at all the people that are in here. Like, and he's like scanning the faces and he's learning, oh shit, that's the DA, that's this. And that was interesting in itself. But then it was also like literally putting you in Catwoman's perspective of like these, exactly like you said, these creepy dudes looking at you. Like that's also, I feel like, quite interesting as well. So I thought that was a really great scene, actually.
You think creepy dudes looking at you is interesting?
Well, it's interesting to connect to the character. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know exactly what I'm saying.
I know.
You're trying to make me say something bad, aren't you, Jane? I think did we cover all the main performances? I think we did. If I'm not.
Oh, I actually really liked Peter Skarsgård, or whatever his name is.
Oh, the DA, right?
Yeah, he was like really like on edge. Yeah.
Oh shit, Sarsgaard, not Skarsgård. Okay, because I was like, he looks nothing like the rest of the brothers, and I was like, it's Sars, right?
Do we want to get back into this? Do we want to open this can of worms?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been a villain. Oh, not villain, but he was in the Green Lantern as well.
Yeah,
he's in two now.
Weird. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good show. Actually, I liked him. Yeah, I agree. I agree. What about Greg Fraser's cinematography in this film? Can any delicious 100%? Can any of you guys pick if you had to? Maybe you can cheat a little bit, but could you pick one shot? Because I can. You can cheat, or maybe one or two. You know, it's fine if you want to cheat.
I love the shot of like Gotham Square, or like whatever you're going to call it, like the main square of Gotham, like both when it's filled and when it's empty. I think that's so stunning, and it like perfectly highlights the tone of the city and like of the film, and I just think, I think those two shots, like, you know, not back to back, like, you know, like this the you know how we get at the start when it's full and a bit later on when it's empty and you kind of just driving through. I think they're both great, but also I think just the diner, like the opening shot from the trailer, I think it's such a. I think it's so fantastic. Just that short 3 seconds, just on the outside of that corner. Yeah.
When that shot came up, it was probably like 2 hours and 15 minutes into the movie. I was like, oh shit, we haven't seen this shot yet. Like as soon as it came up, I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. Well, I was waiting for things to come up in the trailer, and like they came a lot later than I was expecting. I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like that shot of Batman looking up with he's got mud on his face is literally like it's all over at that point. Yeah.
And like the one like of him like leading the people, like I thought that was going to be like a part of the story, and like him going
incredible.
I thought that was going to be like, I thought that was police in the trailer, and I thought he was like leading the police like down somewhere, like to find something. But like the way that it's just, you know, him like saving the people of Gotham, it's great.
That's my favorite shot. The one overhead, him with the flare, leading the people through the water. That's incredible. Really and it's so thematically relevant too. Like when he did that, when he reached his hand out, and I believe it's the kid who that had been consistent throughout the film that reaches out to him first, because he obviously, you know, has a slight connection there, but that is so poignant, and I love that. The fact that as soon as he did that, I realized, oh, Batman hasn't helped a single person in this movie, like not one. You know,
I mean,
and that's the idea.
He helped the dude at the start, like, you know,
but the dude was scared shit of him. Was scared shitless of him.
Oh yeah, fair.
I think that's the idea. They reach out and they follow him, you know, for the first time, and that's what the ending narration I think is all about. You know, this whole time, you know, he talks about he's doing his pursuit of vengeance, of course, as we know. I love that everyone calls him vengeance, by the way.
Oh yeah, and like doesn't make a specific effort to like call him one thing, like Batman or vengeance. It's just like he's just both.
Yeah. And the fact that he's this pursuit of his, you know, he wants to have an impact on Gotham. He doesn't know how, and that's what the opening is all about. And by the end, he realizes that, you know, this beating the shit out of criminals, going out every night and just, you know, picking on low-life thugs is completely serving himself and his own sense of, you know, just makes himself feel better for, you know, this idea of vengeance. And, you know, he wants to, you know, beat the shit out of the people, or the equivalents of, you know, he killed his parents or whatever, but he needs to be more, you know, he needs to be a symbol, you know, and I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that reminds me, you're talking about the start. My favorite shot, or maybe favorite moment, is just like him, the PV of like him on the bicycle with his helmet, and when the Nirvana, when they could like the chorus, it, you know, kicks in,
Mm.
It's like very slow, and then it just suddenly kicks in over his like narration or whatever. Yeah, that was epic. Yeah, that was good.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's your favorite shot?
Yeah, like because that's like it's kind of like a Times Square kind of thing. There's all those like like those the screens or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's its own version of it. It's very cool. But like yeah, just seeing him like on the motorcycle or whatever, like GoPro, GoPro style.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, man. My
It's like a
my
vlog.
close second, like a vlog.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Bruce Wayne here. My close second would be, of course, to sort of transition into the action a little bit. And this is cheating because I heard Matt Reeves talk about this, but is of course the scene in the trailer that we get fully extended here, where he comes out of the elevator and is shot at, and the I don't know, what do you call it, like the fire, the ammunition lights the scene or the bullets hit him.
Muzzle
in his arm,
flash. Yeah.
The muzzle flashes, exactly, and he beats the shit out of all the villains. Just, dude, you put that shit in a movie, I'm going to eat that up. I love that sort of stuff. And Matt Reeves talked about how that was actually, it's 3 shots they stitched together. So,
Well, how do you, like, because, like, do you, like, how do you shoot that? Like, because, like, obviously you can't shoot it in complete darkness because you need to choreograph it. So, like, would you just, like, then treat it in post to darken it like that, or?
They did shoot it in darkness. Now, obviously, I don't know. It's obviously not as dark as it appears in the film.
Yeah, obviously,
I'm sure
yeah,
they can see enough.
Yeah.
He said they shot it in darkness, and the muzzle flashes did actually light the scene. I don't know how you.
I mean, I guess you just
stage
rehearse it to, like, I guess, like, everyone sits on their marks and just.
Yeah.
He kind of just approaches each one. Yeah, I guess it's not that difficult, but yeah. I guess, like, the dark was, like, what I was most asking about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he said it was really challenging, and that, they split into 3 sections that they then shot. They nailed the first section, then did the second, and they stitched them together. And apparently, the muzzle flashes do light the scene, which is, dude. Again, another thing I'd watch on YouTube on repeat. That one, loved it. But the action in general, just loved the choreography. Love how Batman moves in the movie. He feels like so believable in the way he just would beat the shit out of you. Even more so than actually probably much more so than Christian Bale's Batman, which, there's some good action in those movies, no doubt. But in terms of just the hand-to-hand combat of it, like, I found this Batman much more believable. Like,
well, I think that, like, cause, like, Christian Bale is actually, like, a structured fighting. Like, doesn't it? Like, he know, like that Batman, like, knows, like martial arts and, like,
he's
actual, like, fighting, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this Batman just feels like kind of a street brawl type thing.
100%. Yeah, that's exactly what he feels like. I love it though. That little moment when Gordon says, "Why didn't you pull your punch?" and he says, "I did." It was great.
Yeah,
that's good. I like that a lot. Yeah. So I really enjoyed the action. I don't know if you guys have any particular comments on it. A lot of it did feel similar, but I just loved it so much. I really loved at the end when he, came through the ceiling of the stadium, and he was using the grapple hook and stuff. Loved all that.
Oh yeah,
as well.
all those people that got shredded by the glass that he fucking blew from the roof.
Right? Yeah. But then, of course, there's the Batmobile chase as well, which which was the only 10 seconds Jane didn't like.
Like when he hits, like, the on ramp on the bridge, and then, like, when the truck blows up, like, like that little section there, like, I remember, like, I zoned out, and, like, I kind of looked at the screen. I was like, oh shit, I should.
Well, the exact same thing happened to me.
Yeah,
I feel like I zoned out, and then I was like, oh wait, what's happening? Oh yeah, we're chasing.
yeah. That's exactly what it was like. Yeah.
Dude, that's so funny.
I mean, it was a bit long. I don't disagree, but
it was a bit confusing. I don't know. It wasn't shot that great. I think it was a bit confusing.
Oh, okay. I thought it was really effective in how it, like, the camera was, like, always really tight on everything, and I really felt the franticness of, like, the cars, literally, like, the positioning of everyone's. It's this complete insanity of, like, the way Penguin was trying to maneuver between the trucks and shit. I really enjoyed it, actually. But I mean, actually, sorry, I just wanted to bring the scene up. It's one of the standout scenes in the movie in terms of, like, a tentpole sort of, I think, thing to remember about it. But dude, the sound design of the Batmobile, oh my god, dude! When that engine starts and the theater is just going, it was top tier sound design. Absolutely,
like,
loved it.
Because you went to a pre-release, I assume there's, like, a lot more, like, fanboys. Like, was your theater, like, rowdy or clapping and shit like that, or not?
No,
No, okay.
No. Good.
But this isn't a movie you clap to, is what we established.
Yeah, this is cinema. We don't
I mean, not
clap to
that you
cinema.
clap to any movies because they're not going.
You clap to theme park rides. That's what you clap to.
No, you don't, because I mean, like, the theme park ride doesn't acknowledge your existence, so you shouldn't be clapping it.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, that's true. But I can't get over like the way that the Batmobile came through the speakers was something else. It was an otherworldly experience. That one, that was awesome. What else we got here? I mean, by the time we get to the third act, I mean, like deep into the third act of the whole stadium sequence, like I really liked the action there, but there's no doubt by that point the film sort of drops its Seven and Zodiac influences and becomes a third act action film. You know what I mean? Which isn't an issue. It's not a criticism, but
I don't think so. Not entirely. I still think it's. I still think there's hints of it. I think like in the menace that like the Riddler goons kind of pose.
Oh
yeah.
I think they're kind of Zodiac-esque.
I didn't like the Riddler games at all.
I did quite like it. Like once again, it was a second moment in the film where I was kind of drawn out of a bit just because it was kind of like a bit actiony for like what the rest of the film was. But I really liked the threat that they posed because they felt more dangerous than the actual Riddler because they were just shooting on innocent people.
Well, yeah, they felt like, it felt like a very, again, I don't want to overuse the word grounded, but it felt like a sort of terrorist attack that is sort of scarily plausible, you know? Like these gunmen shooting from the ceiling.
There were just so many of them, though, that it made it feel unrealistic. But it also felt very, like, comic booky. Like, that felt like a very comic book ending. Like, Riddler goons come in and, Also, like, the coffee, like, the question mark on the coffee felt like something from, like, a panel. Like that.
It did. That's a good point.
Yeah, but that's just a bit of fun. Yeah, that's a bit of homage. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not really.
But it does feel very comic booky because, like it is based on the Long Halloween. It feels. I don't know. Like the procedural element of it is kind of. It feels like a novel or something, or like a long story, like a graphic novel or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Matt was very inspired by all of that, but I mean, when my first thought was with that, when the credits hit, again, I stand by the movie's a bit long, but when the credits hit, it actually sort of felt like to me I'd just watched a HBO miniseries as opposed to a film, and not a good or bad thing, just an observation for me anyway. Like I sort of just felt like the way it was structured and the procedural nature of it that we're talking about, it sort of felt like a 3-part. I feel like I just binged a 3-episode thing, but...
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I understand that.
Oh, actually, that's exactly what I was going to say. In terms of the Riddler goons, the moment, like when they take the goon's mask off and he says, "I am vengeance," like, I get it. You know what I mean? I get what that scene is. It just felt really forced to me, of like, why did you ask this random goon who he is? Like, didn't he ask, "Who are you?"
Yeah, that's weird.
Why'd you ask, "Who are you?" You're just some random. You know who he is. He's one of the dudes that commented on the YouTube video that I'm going to go and shoot the place up.
Gordon didn't know that.
Did Gordon ask the question?
Yeah, he asked the question, and he didn't know that because he wasn't at the apartment. So I mean, like,
right.
I guess it's kind of like I get what you're saying, but like I love it.
That's something.
I love it, but like I think if you're looking for a way to explain, I guess you can kind of explain like that. But like if you have an issue, I don't have an issue with it, but you have an issue, so like that's very problem.
Yeah. I don't know. It felt forced. Like it felt like, "Who are you?" I don't know, man. I'm fucking John Smith. I live at 24 5th Street. Like, what the fuck do you want from me? You know what I mean? Like, what is he hoping to get out of the question? You know what I mean? It was a sort of a weird thing to say in the moment, I thought. But, I mean, I totally get why it's in there. Like, it's totally the I am vengeance Batman. Oh, shit. I probably shouldn't say that. I probably shouldn't be that person. I get it. That moment also right afterwards where Batman... Like, what did he do? He, like, jumped on the thing that was falling or something?
Oh, well, yeah, the electricity.
Like, yeah.
I was very confused.
Because if it touched the water, then everyone would have died. Because electricity plus water is a big no-no.
So he shielded them from the.
He like cut it off.
So he cut it off. So the
While it was falling.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing that took me out of that was I think like the person next to me, like as it was happening, as he was falling, I must have missed the part where he cut it because as he was falling, the person next to me was like, I think he's gonna die. And that like distracted me. so then when it fell, when it hit the water and he was fine, I was like, wait, what?
He's gonna fucking die.
He cut the thing, it's fine. I get it. That's cool. Dude. And that was so distracting to me. I felt like turning and going, are you fucking dumb? Are you serious? That would have been wild.
I mean, with that amount of electricity, like, electrocute those people in that amount of water? Because, I don't know.
I mean, probably, but...
Probably, really? It was like really... It was kind of just a cable, and it was like a lot of water.
Oh, was it?
I mean, like, it was a stadium, so, like, that was all industrial, it was all industrial, like, lighting and kind of, you know, it was definitely a lot of current, you know.
Sure.
Let's whip out the 3-4 physics textbook, Lamb, and we'll analyze circuits.
Let's ask Mr. O'Connell, the bully.
You're gonna name drop teachers?
Haven't we done that before? Oh.
Have we?
I don't know.
I'll just put right where you said that. I'll just put vengeance right there, if you want.
We're going a bit long, so I don't really want to ask. Like, I guess we can kind of do it quick, but like,
go for it. We can cut segments. It's fine. We watch it. We're reviewing the Batman. We've waited for years for this chat. We'll do everything.
Who, like we talked about, we don't really want Joker, but like, who's your ideal for the next kind of movies or the next kind of thing? Like, who do you think, rather, or like, you know, like who do you want to see?
I've thought about this. I would kind of like when someone said Mr. Freeze, I thought that's sort of cool. Like, I don't know. I feel like you can do something with that. I feel like, you know, Arnold is hard to overcome, but so is Jim Carrey, and they did that. So I'm like, that's interesting. I don't know. I feel like there's more to be done with Bane in terms of doing a more comic accurate version of him.
But I feel like you don't touch Bane if you're doing this as a trilogy just because of two
similarities.
Yeah.
I would have said the same thing about introducing Joker at the end of this movie, though. So
yeah, but the Joker's, you can't have a Batman without Joker. Like, in complete honesty and fairness.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. He is more pivotal than Bane. Yeah. I don't know. There are so many options. I mean, people probably there was like that Hush reference in the movie. Who they do Hush? You know, when like the like Riddler had literally written Hush on the, I don't know, on his wall or whatever. You can do that. That'd be cool. I know there are so many villains. I feel like I don't know if I want something like Poison Ivy or some shit. Don't know if I want that. I mean, I would have been happy with. I think the ending of this movie suggests, and the fact we're getting a spin-off show indicates it's not going to be this. But I would have been happy just with the Penguin as being the main thing moving forward. But I don't think that's going to be the.
Yeah, I would like. I think Penguin still has a part to play in the next one. Like, I'd be surprised if they do the spin-off series and then just leave it at that.
I agree. I think he'd be in the next one. Yeah.
Poison Ivy, where she poisons all the water, right, as an act of like rebellion against climate change. That'd be good because she cares about nature.
She poisons like as in like the flooded city. Like she gets right on it real fast while it's still flooded.
I think they'll avoid anyone that kind of has that kind of magical or kind of power element. Or them, like, for now at least, or like they might do it like in a very subtle kind of reassessed way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like the next one needs to be less of a slow burn procedural thing. It needs to be a bit more. I don't know. It has to have a bit more momentum because I don't think you can kind of repeat this the way it is. You know, just do another one of these.
I don't think they will. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. It makes sense. I don't know if it'd be weird if we just get another mystery. I mean, I think definitely keep the core traits of what this Batman is in terms of like, have this be the series that focuses on Batman more as a detective. I think that's cool. But yeah, I agree. Like, in terms of the way that it actually like structurally plays out, do something a bit different. Yeah. As he sort of becomes more like the Batman we know, you know. yeah, I don't know. I don't know any other villains like Deathstroke. Do people like that?
I don't think you touched Deathstroke because isn't Deathstroke being teased in the main kind of DC EU type canon?
I think he was teased to be in that Ben Affleck movie that became this. You know, so
Oh, okay, right.
I mean, yeah, that's sort of weird. Feel free to throw anything else out there while this continues.
Liam, who do you want to say?
Who do I want to see?
Yeah.
Oh, Harvey Dent, obviously. Two-Face. I think that'll be a good. They could be a good Harvey Dent. Because he is just a guy, and I guess if this is about corruption, then they could do that. But I mean, if you have Harvey Dent and the Joker in the next one, it's kind of a bit, Dark Knight-ish.
No, yeah. I mean, I was with Jaden. I thought Joker was Harvey Dent for a second, just with the way his face.
Because the half of the face.
His face was fucking scarred on half his face. I was like, this is Two-Face. And then I was saying, oh no, there's a clown. He said clown. I'm like, oh.
He said clown. Yeah, I'm like, all right, guys, I get it.
And like the cast list is like Barry Keoghan Joker. I was like, oh, okay, all right, fair.
Yeah. Did you guys go to Ratalada or whatever? How do you say that thing in the movie? Ratalada.
To the website.
To the website and do the thing.
Oh no.
Yeah, we did that. You can go to it and you just have to solve the riddles, and you get like a little reward. Like you get little like teaser images and stuff. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in them really, but it was kind of neat. I like when they do sort of cross media marketing like that. I haven't done any trivia. Do we want any trivia?
I think we're fine with that trivia.
Yeah, probably.
Unless you have something that you think is really interesting.
The only really interesting thing I had was that Matt Reeves wrote the script with Robert Pattinson in mind before he was cast at all, before he even knew he wanted to do it.
That is something I was surprised. Like I had to look, and there's only 2 writers credited. It was Matt Reeves and the other bloke whose name I forgot. But like, yeah, because like this went through a bit of development. How it didn't. It kind of changed hands a bit, and like it evolved a bit.
Well, this version of it didn't. Like that's the thing. Like
this version didn't, but like the actual project of this kind of solo Batman film did. Yeah, yes. So like it's like seeing that there was only 2 writers credited, kind of surprised me that like when it reached their hands, like how much they must have treated it to like kind of get it to this point. Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's basically an entirely new Matt Reeves vision of a film, because I know Ben Affleck was talking about, and remember years ago he released that clip of him training for the movie with Deathstroke, which is so weird in retrospect. That movie was never meant to be, obviously, but that was obviously a completely different movie. So yeah, it's cool. Oh, and the only other TLDR for this is that Robert Pattinson snuck off the Tenet set to do this audition, and Christopher Nolan like he lied about it and said, I've got a family emergency, and then Christopher Nolan said, you're doing the Batman audition, aren't you? And he said, yeah.
He's such a liar. Like he lies in interviews like all the time. It's so funny.
That's hilarious. Like he straight up, I love that he tried to lie to Nolan. Nolan's just like, you're just doing the Batman audition, aren't you? Like, don't lie to me.
Is it like offensive towards Nolan that he's like, because Nolan is Batman?
I mean, I guess a Warner Brothers exec told him, which is so funny. I love that. All right. Well, I mean, I guess we can get into our final verdict for the Batman. We well and truly covered it. Jaden. Yeah,
this is a pure 10 for me. It's just dripping with style and just it's everything I said at the start and throughout. It's just so strong in what it presents, and it so clearly shows it. And like, it's the most expansive and well thought and well planned Batman we've got. I mean, that's partly that's due to the runtime, because it is 2 hours 50. They have the opportunity to do that. But like, yeah, it's just 10 out of 10 for me. Just my personal favorite Batman film.
Awesome. Huge plays. Well done, Matt. Congratulations. What about you, Fitzy?
I mean, yeah, the movie is fantastic. But it is an 8 out of 10 for me. So, yeah, I really hate it, yeah.
Yeah, it's an 8 for me too. I think it's absolutely awesome, and I'm really looking forward to rewatching it. like really looking forward to rewatching. I just want to see, like, I just loved Robert Pattinson in this role so much. I just can't wait to like watch the scenes again, like with him just like talking, him doing anything in the movie. I'm just like captivated. I'm like so in. I love it. Yeah, minor criticisms and issues that hold it back slightly, but like this movie's awesome. Absolutely couldn't recommend it enough. And for me, you know, my most anticipated movie for a long time, and I was very, very satisfied with it. So I'm very happy. Thank you, Matt. Let this Batverse reign. You know what I mean? Give me all this Batverse content. I'm really looking forward to it. More of it. Do you guys want to do highlights? Have you got anything that you really want to speak about?
Not particularly, but like if you
I
want.
don't mind.
Cool. As always, now we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is the most average MCU movie? The most mid? Luke said, I would say Captain Marvel, but that's not average, that's trash. I feel like the Ant-Man movies are actually a good baseline for a standard Marvel movie. If you're making a tier list, they're good enough for a tipping point, good enough of a tipping point, sorry. They're not bad movies. They have enough humor and good action scenes. They're creative and interesting movies. They make good use of previous films. They're also not super fantastic. Also, Andy's take on the Winter Soldier is trash and objectively false.
Oh yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
Which I actually feel like I've now copy and pasted these in the wrong order. I should have read Andy's first, and Andy says, I haven't seen all of the MCU movies. I only stopped at Guardians of the Galaxy because I decided to finish off the MCU in 2023. But the most average MCU movie I have seen is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I wouldn't have a say in this because I know nothing about the MCU, but because it's in a lot of people's number one list, including Jaden, I don't think it comes close to that. Jaden, respond. Beef.
Like I don't know. Like I can't remember his review because he fucking deleted it. But like, I just remember like there was a lot of points that I just disagreed with. I think one of the things he brought up was the choreography, and like that's like I think the fight choreography was quite good. I think like, you know, just personally, like, you know, obviously the elevator scene is the one that comes to mind first because that's kind of like the main kind of thing that's kind of been like come through that film. But I just think a lot of the sequences like with Bucky and Cap on the helicarrier and like just like any of the others, I think it is quite decent. And like I saw some of the reviews he did like, and like one of the criticisms of the film was it was just like saying like, you know, like Marvel kind of words, it's like, oh, helicarrier, Winter Soldier, and all that is like, oh, but who gives a shit about that? Like it's such an unfair criticism to say who gives a shit. I mean, like I'm pretty sure we've all done it on this show, but like, you know, like that, because that can just be applied to anywhere and anything. So like this kind of idea that like, you know, oh, it's just Marvel jargon, who gives a shit? I don't think that's a fair criticism. So I just want to say that as well. But you know, Andy didn't say that, but like he did like a review that said it. So like,
so he may as well have said it. You know?
Yeah, he might as well. Yeah, he says it with his heart. Yeah, no, yeah.
Take that, Andy. All right, Vincey, do you have an answer for this? Did you use any scientific equation to come to the most mid MCU movie?
First off, I just want to say that that's just Andy, you just misinterpreted the fucking question. Okay, it was the most average. You had it at 2 stars. It kind of seems like you really hate it. So you fucking misinterpreted the question, and you suck.
Whoa! Take it easy. Yeah.
Oh no, it's okay. Shang-Chi, I guess.
Oh, get fucked.
Shang-Chi. Cultural appropriation, man. Man.
I don't know. It's just average. It's okay. Yeah.
Sweet. Well done. That actually should be your answer, like the way you just said that exactly for an average film. Like that's exactly what you
nothing to say. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of different for an MCU film. I do like the relationship between Awkwafina and the guy, but
oh yeah.
I mean, at the end, it just devolves into CGI mess. So that's my answer.
It's funny. I actually completely agree with your opinion on the film. Like, I don't think it's great either, but like, I think it's exactly what you said. Like, when I was doing my math on this, I was like, there's enough to make it stand out in terms of like the setting and like the cultural stuff involved in terms of like doing Chinese myths and stuff, where I was like, okay, that's above mid for me, like in terms of like the status of it, if that makes sense. But what about you, Jane?
I don't know, because like Thor was where my mind first went, like the first Thor, not the
Oh,
Dark
yeah.
World or like it, because it is kind of this entirely forgettable experience and just a very mundane kind of thing. But then, like, I think Luke's answer of one of the Ant-Man films, particularly like Ant-Man and the Wasp, is probably more right in terms of just average and like kind of run of the mill. What you expect is what you get. You know, just jokes here, that happens there. X action, Y plot. Did I have an okay time watching it? Yes. Do I remember any of it? No. Like I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is probably the one that has to be the most in the middle.
I agree. I mean, it's not my answer, but I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Luke's criteria is good as well. I also remember, and I've only seen the first Ant-Man. I've only seen both of them once, but I remember laughing a fair bit in Ant-Man, and
The
like
first Ant-Man, yeah, I think is on the positive side, but the second one I think leans towards
to the mid,
mediocrity. Yeah,
to the yellow. Yeah, for me, it's Age of Ultron. Because it's the one where I felt I've only seen it once, and it was the first time. Like maybe it was just my raw reaction to it when I was I don't know however old we were in the theater watching that, like 8 years old, and
you have been
the
14.
credits hit. Yeah, close enough. I looked like I was 8, still do. And when the credits hit, my raw reaction for the first time was like, yeah. Like, and this is at a time when I was like, dude, I remember being actually genuinely excited for that movie. I don't know if you guys remember the trailer. The trailer was awesome for that movie.
Good.
Dude, the James Spader VO.
And with like the I had strings and now I'm free, like kind of creepy thing. Oh, dude, yeah, so brilliant.
I mean, yeah, I was actually into the MCU, and like I went with Luke and Lockie, and then we saw it. Right. And it's okay.
Yeah, it's like all right. Yeah, they did the thing. Good for them. Yeah, 100%. That was it for me. And it's so funny that like that trailer like does stick out in my brain still. It's actually, if we asked the question like disparity between trailer quality and film quality, that'd probably be my answer too if that were an interesting question. But yeah, that's my answer for sure. I actually I want to rewatch it at some stage just to see if I find more in it, because I literally haven't seen it in 7 years, which is insane. But yeah. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comments section. Send us a DM on Instagram or join their Discord server. This week, we'll be asking you, what is a movie you would never watch? As in a specific movie that you know exists, you've heard about in any capacity, and you're just like, yeah, I'm never going to watch that. Let us know. That's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Fitzy, what are we doing next week?
Donnie Darko. On Stan. I really like Donnie Darko, so it's gonna be good.
Let's go!
I'm a film bro, apparently. So yeah.
Yeah. I know nothing about this movie, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think your opinion will be an interesting one to see in this film.
Okay. All right, very good. That's it. Again, we appreciate you all listening. Appreciate you guys joining me for a fun Bat-centric conversation. Have a great rest of your week, and goodbye.